once again. Good evening, folks. Mobile Geezer here with Friday Night Tech Talk, as usual on a Friday night. And glad to have you here. And try to let you see who's already popped in. Ren's popped in, I guess, before he went to work, saying hello, everyone. He was even kind enough to say, make sure you give the stream a like. Right behind him was Eleanor. She popped in. I know she's got to work tomorrow, so she probably won't make it to the end of the show, but glad she's here at the moment. And then I guess Brian's riding around getting home on the subways. He said service isn't continuous, but he'll be around. So he's kind of popping in and out from the subways in New York. I spent many years on the subways in New York. I mentioned that. And Will popped in from the Philippines, I gather. So he's still enjoying his family trip. He said that internet is worse than dial-up here, but I'll catch what I can live. This is awesome. And also, he also said, no, that's from me. No, he also said, next Friday he'll be on with us, so we'll all be excited for that. And Eleanor said, hey, Will, glad you made it. Hope you're enjoying your vacation. Yep, and I'm sure he's enjoying some of his wife's family that he's never even met till he went on this trip. So it's pretty awesome. So I'm glad you popped in, Will. So thank you all for being here. Glad Brian popped in. So between Brian and Renz, these guys pop in on the way to work, on the way from work. It's pretty awesome. You guys are really, really faithful and awesome to deal with and have as friends and even contributors to the stream. So you guys contribute a lot to the stream, as does Eleanor. And Gary's not here yet. I'm guessing he'll be here. We'll see who else comes in. If you're new here, we do this every Friday night on the East Coast in the U.S. at 8 o'clock. So we discuss some of the stories from the tech stories from the last week that I pick out for us to discuss. And as always, I will show you my website where you can follow along in the show notes. So I'm going to share. Let's see, let's get my stuff out of the way first. Okay. So if you haven't been here before, if you go to my website, mobilegeezer.wordpress.com, if you click on the date that you see here first, it'll pull up tonight's show notes for tonight's stories. So let me put my stuff back here. Okay. And just to give you a preview of tonight, I told you about Matter, was it 4 or 5 months ago? And this is the smart home standard that's all the big guys, Google, Amazon, Apple, everybody's involved in, and to make our smart homes hopefully much smoother. So it technically launched yesterday, I gather in Amsterdam, but that's the official launch. So I came up with 3 different stories. So we'll be discussing Matter and how it's going to come into our lives, because I think for those of us that use home tech, speakers, smart TVs, smart washers and dryers and refrigerators, whatever smart tech we have, I think it's probably going to make a bigger an impact into our lives. So I thought I should talk about it. So that's what we're going to start with tonight. Next up, and those are on 2 different sites. One was on one called Stuff TV that I had never seen before, but they came up with 2 different stories that I thought were pretty good, and the last one was on The Verge. And then we're going to talk about Android and how it's developed and how much it's matured over the years. This is an article from Android Authority that I think was very well written and well said, so I wanted to go over that. We don't have any huge news this week. And then a former Apple exec and who worked on the iPhone has joined arm on the board, and I think that's a very good idea. And finally, I know we've heard nothing but Twitter, 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 and I've been reporting it every single week. So I said, okay, I'm not going to do another Elon Twitter story other than to mention that Jack Dorsey is still Twitter's number one stakeholder under Musk, and they're still friends. So just thought I'd mention that. Yes, I know that yesterday Elon told employees be ready to be fired or to be laid off, and they are getting severance pay. And he was going to start letting people know who's going to stay and who's going to go. And he did start letting them know that today. And even though I work on Fridays, I did see a couple of stories, and it seemed like he's already laying off about 50% of the staff, which is over 7,000 people. So I guess there's 3,000 people, something like that. So I know there's a lot going on there. I just didn't want to, give another whole week to a lot of Elon stuff. So I just thought I'd end with that Jack Dorsey story. So I just wanted to let you guys know about that. So let me go stop the screen. Let's go back to the comments. And here's Annette. Annette, you got it good and early again. Thank you very much. So now we've got covered from all parts of the country here and from the Philippines, and we're doing very well. And Brian says hello to Will. Yeah, and that Will popped in from his vacation in the Philippines, and he says he's going to be on next week, but he said he's got the spotty dial up here, but he's with us. So good to know. Glad you're here. And here's Miss Ellie saying hi to everybody. Ren's a million. She's the one who labeled you Ren's a million. So Ren's, I think you like that. And Will. So glad you popped in, Ellie. So, all right. Mike will be here tonight. According to him, I'm thinking in the next, time is it? Next 20, 25 minutes, Mike will be here. So I'll start the stories. I'll go through what I can, and Mike will jump in while he can. He came up with a OnePlus 9 review today. Yeah, I think it was today. And did pretty good with that. So if you haven't seen it, go check out, I want to say Joker Tech. It's no longer Joker Tech. It's Simply Your Device. I had to go back to the old days. So go check out Mike's Simply Your Device, and you'll get his thoughts on the OnePlus 9. Let's see. So yeah, next week we'll be together. Well, hopefully Mike will be here too. So she says Musketeers, yay. And Brian says, hope you're back on the use. Yes, I'm back broadcasting from Eleanor's house. I'll be doing this every week from Eleanor's house. So I've got some of the fastest internet on the planet. Usually Chattanooga and Google have the two fastest internets on the planet. Have been like that for 4 or 5 years now. So don't think we'll have any issues there. So as I said, I'm going to start off tonight with a few stories about Matter, because I think Matter is going to become more and more important in our lives for all of our home tech. So that's the Matter logo. And so like I said, this Stuff TV was a new website that I found, but they had a couple of good stories, so I'm going to start with that. So this story was, and this is from yesterday. What is Matter? The new smart home standard explained. Matter is a new standard for smart home technology by Dan Grabham. And this was yesterday because I guess yesterday was the official launch of Matter. And you'll see that as we go through these articles. So let's put this into reader view. Good. It was holding back on me before. Now it's much faster. Okay. So today is a new frontier for the smart home. If you're interested in smart home gadgets, you are going to be hearing a lot about Matter, the new but very much still nascent industry standard for smart home technology. The standard is officially launching today. This was yesterday. But what is Matter? We're here to explain. Of course, I have all kinds of bad jokes about does it matter, but I'm holding them in so far. Okay. Backed by tech's three biggest players, Amazon, Apple, and Google, as well as nearly all the major smart home brands, the platform is dedicated to making smart home devices work together in a better, more unified manner. If Matter evolves as intended, the idea is that it will put an end to reading the fine print to see if a new product works with Alexa, Google Home, or whichever software system you've based your existing smart home ecosystem around. This means as Matter starts to take off, expect big name products like Amazon Echo, Apple HomePod, Nest thermostats, Eve smart home gear, I don't know Eve, and Philips Hue and Nanoleaf lighting to carry the Matter seal of approval and all play nicely together, partly through the new product launches and partly through firmware updates. That's good, because that means we'll get on older stuff. Up to 150 products are expected in the short to medium term, according to estimates. Now, let me get over to this. Okay. And of course, Elma's been as bad as me, but does it really matter? Yes, I think it will very, very soon. So that's my influence on her after all these years. So that's probably on me. Because as exciting as the smart home revolution has been over the last few years, it can still be a bit of a minefield for consumers, as not all products work politely alongside one another. Don't we all know that for sure? As the founding body, the Connectivity Standards Alliance puts it, which I guess is what this used to be called, Matter is a seal of approval that says smart devices work reliably together, taking the guesswork out of the purchasing process. So the way I understand it, this Connectivity Standards Alliance will still be around, but Matter is kind of taking over through the Connectivity Standards Alliance. That's how I see it anyway. Put it this way, when you're buying a new laptop, do you worry if it'll work with both your Wi-Fi at home and at the coffee shop? No, because there's a single Wi-Fi standard. To date, the same can't be said of smart home technology. Something might work with Amazon Alexa, but not Google Home, let alone Apple's traditionally siloed ecosystem. The idea is that Matter will change all that, let's hope. Instead of the current state of confusion in competing standards, all Matter certified devices, and the hope is that this will be pretty much all smart home devices, given the comprehensive list of backers for the new protocol, are being designed to just work together. No questions asked. And that's what we want. Just work together, period. In this sense, Matter can be thought of as a new global language that smart home products will get firmware updates for. Amazon, for example, is talking about 17 Echo devices being updated. We're going to have that story coming up. And launched to be compatible with Matter. It's a standard in the same way that Wi-Fi or Bluetooth are the standards for those types of technology. Good. How does it work? For the tech-minded, Matter will work by enabling IP, Internet Protocol networking, between devices using Bluetooth, low energy, and Wi-Fi. This will allow not only physical smart home devices to connect, but also their apps and cloud services to talk to each other. That's heavy duty. It's an open source protocol, good, too, meaning anyone will be able to draw on the combined smart home expertise of the world's biggest tech firms. In theory, this should put an end not only to compatibility woes when shopping, but also to having to use dozens of different types of apps to control different aspects of your smart home. Yeah, don't Eleanor and I both know all about that. And constantly delve into the advanced settings to achieve the kind of routine or automated functionality you want and so on. That's true. You have to go back and forth sometimes. Who is supporting Matter and what will work with Matter? The body behind Matter is called the Connectivity Standards Alliance, as we've mentioned. And as we've said, it has over 100 major tech players and it's on its book. Crucially for the smart home wars, rivals Amazon, Apple, and Google are all committed to getting on the same page for the new protocol. Let's hope. As are the likes of Meta, Facebook, IKEA, iRobot, TCL, Signify, aka Philips Hue, Nanoleaf, Eve, and Samsung SmartThings. You can find the full list of companies and brands that have pledged to work to the common standard going forward on the official Matter website. So if you go to their website, you'll see the full list. Does Matter matter? It's like double talk. Matter matters. There's no doubt about it, particularly in light of ongoing concerns about climate change. Smart home technology has a significant role in the fight against global warming, and anything that makes it easier for consumers to understand and join this revolution is a welcome development. If nothing else, Matter is confirmation that the smart home is growing up and can no longer be brushed off as just another fad. That's true. Under the common umbrella of this new standard, it's here to stay. Cool. So now we've explained what Matter is, and I've still got a couple of more stories about it. Like I said, yesterday was the official launch day. So, let's see if there's anything else in here. Let's see. Brian says, poor Twitter workers. Well, they're going to get paid. For the last story I heard today, they're going to get paid until early next year, which is good. I know it's only a couple of months. But I'm hoping he'll help retrain them, or I don't know how this is going to go, but hopefully they'll be okay. Brian says, Musk is Thanos snapped half the employees away. Yeah, but keep in mind it's Mr. Gates that actually wants half the planet dead because there's too many of us. He said that multiple times. So let's see. Next story. This is still on Matter, and this again from Stuff, same website. Smart home standard Matter coming to a gear near you from Amazon, Apple, Google, Samsung, and more. And this is kind of going over the same ground, but it's not exactly the same. So I just thought I'd pull this one in too. So back to Reader View. And this by the same author, Dan Brabham. Okay, long-awaited smart home standard Matter has had its official launch in Amsterdam. So this was yesterday. It's always been tempting to write Matter off as a fan, but similar to Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, this new standard has massive support from a whole host of companies, which we've listed below. While many new smart home products are set to ship with Matter, that's interesting, I wonder how soon, 190 products have received certification or are in the queue for testing. So some are still in the queue for testing, but some have, so they're not telling us what the breakdown is there. The really interesting bit is that many current devices will get firmware updates for compatibility too. Good, I hope my smart speakers do. Matter support will naturally differ between different manufacturers, but the biggest announcement so far has been from Amazon. Its director of smart home, Maria Koopmans, said as part of the launch event that it's set to roll out an update to 17 Wi-Fi connected types of Echo devices in December, so I guess in a few weeks, with other device types after that. Your Echo will then be able to become a controller for your other Matter devices. Okay, that's pretty cool. So hopefully you'll be able to talk to like your Echo or whichever one is your controller and make them all do what you want them to do. Matter presents a new opportunity to further simplify development for device makers and add to the consumer experience of smart home devices from a range of different companies and brands, added Koopmans. Eve has also announced that 3 of its products, the Eve Energy, Eve Door and Window, and Eve Motion, will get an over-the-air firmware update on the 12th of December. That's great. So if you already have it, you're going to have Matter. So that's great. As for Philips Hue, its bridge will be updated for the standard in early 2023. Good to know. A lot of people have that. So effectively, all existing and new Philips Hue lights and accessories will be Matter compatible, except the Philips Hue Play HDMI sync box and the dial of the Philips Hue tap dial switch, as Matter does not yet support devices like these, which I have neither of, but I think some of my lights are Philips Hue, so let's hope they get updated. And yeah, Eleanor and I are both spoiled by being able to tell our lights to turn themselves on and off, and most of the time we don't have to touch them. Matter has been developed by an organization called the Connectivity Standards Alliance, as well as Amazon, Apple, and Google. The companies that have committed to it include Eve Systems, GE Lighting, LG Electronics, Nanoleaf, Oppo, Resideo, Samsung, Signify, Philips Hue and Wiz, TCL, and Texas Instruments. Amazon Alexa, Google Home, and Samsung SmartThings will all be Matter apps on Android. On iOS, you'll be able to use the Home app, but I don't think that's coming for a few months for iOS. Well, I think that's in the next year. With the initial launch of Matter, a variety of popular smart home product areas are supported, including lighting and electrical, heating controls, window coverings and shades, safety and security sensors, and door locks. Work has also begun to support categories such as cameras and home appliances. Good. At the launch, it was announced that Matter device makers will need to go through Amazon Works with Alexa program, Amazon's Works with Alexa program to carry a Works with Alexa logo on Matter devices. So, seems like everybody's all in on this, which I think is really good. All right, let's see anything new. Let's see. I'm not. Don't know what Ryan asked. Okay. Let's get rid of this story. I got one story left in this grouping. Okay, and this is the Amazon specific stuff. So Amazon, and this was on The Verge. Amazon announces a phased rollout of Matter to its Alexa smart home platform. Matter over Wi-Fi devices arrives on 17 Amazon Echo devices this month, but initially only for Android phones and with smart plugs, bulbs, and switches. Support for iOS and more device types is coming early next year. So for Amazon, early next year. For the others, I'm not sure if it's now or early next year. But anyway, I thought Amazon being the most popular, I should put this story up here. So let's go into read review. This is by Jennifer Patterson-Tohey. I think that's how you say it. Amazon will start its Matter journey slowly, bringing support for the new smart home standard to 17 Echo devices in December. But this first rollout will only be Matter over Wi-Fi, no Thread yet, compatible with Android phones, and cover just 3 device types: smart plugs, smart bulbs, and smart switches. Amazon announced the news at the Matter launch event in Amsterdam this week and says it will expand the rollout to iOS and Thread early next year, when it will also add more of the device types Matter support. So I guess we don't have it for our speakers yet, for our Amazon speakers yet. The company, which is a founding member of the new smart home interoperability standard, also announced that Matter device makers will need to go through Amazon Works with Alexa program to get the WWA badge on the product pages. WWA badge made me think of wrestling right away, of course. But they can do this in tandem with Matter certification. If a device is Matter certified, it will work with Alexa, regardless of whether it has the WWA certification. That's good. So I would think you just naturally want to go through the Matter certification. This is an effort unprecedented in scale and complexity. I would say so. It's a big deal, and we need to make sure it goes smoothly. Very good logic. Amazon also announced a collaboration with Samsung SmartThings that will make it easy to set up Matter devices on one platform and port them to the other without having to set them up again. Let's hope that's very true. This is similar to the collaboration with Google that Samsung announced last month. It's an extra layer of interoperability on top of Matter's multi-admin feature, which allows all Matter devices to be controlled by any Matter-compatible app. Here's the list of Echo speakers that will become Matter controllers next month. Echo Dot 5th Gen, Echo Dot 5th Gen with clock, Echo 4th Gen, Echo Dot 3rd Gen 2018, Echo Studio, Echo Show 8 2nd Gen 2021, Echo Show 10 3rd Gen, Echo Show 5 2nd Gen, Echo Dot 3rd Gen. I have one of those. Not with clock. With clock. Echo Dot 4th Gen with clock. Echo Show 5. Echo version 3. That I have. Echo Dot 4th Gen. Echo Input. Echo Flex. Echo Plus. Didn't know there was one. Version 2 and Echo Show 8. So those are all the devices that'll start becoming Matter controllers in December. 17 Echo smart speakers and display are getting upgraded to be Matter over Wi-Fi controllers in December. Once the free firmware arrives, if you have an if you have an Android phone, you should be able to add any Matter compatible device to any compatible Matter app on your smartphone, with the Echo being the controller. Amazon Alexa, Google Home, and Samsung SmartThings are all slated to be Matter-controlled apps on Android. So it sounds like if you should be able to use your Amazon to control both your Google Home and your Samsung SmartThings. We'll see. We are in a bit of a chicken and egg situation here, though, as hardware devices are starting to get updates, but we are waiting on the software support from some apps. Apple has added Matter support to its Home app and OS and iOS 16.1, which we've all gotten already, and has Samsung for SmartThings and Galaxy devices. And I just updated 2 of my Samsung phones yesterday. We're still waiting on Google and now Amazon for iOS. It's my understanding that this should largely resolve itself in the next 3 to 4 months. Okay, so I was hoping weeks, but okay. By which point all the platforms will be on board with Matter and ready to go. So I think by next spring, these should be all in sync. We're in a chicken and egg situation as hardware devices become Matter compatible, but we are still waiting on software support from apps. Why it's taking so long, however, and why we have to wait for Thread and iOS support for Matter on Alexa's platform is down to caution. That's a good idea, I think. We're bringing Matter support to well over 100 million devices, while across 30 Echo and Eero devices. Chris DiCenzo, a senior principal engineer at Amazon and the company's CSA board director, explained in an interview with The Verge. This is an effort unprecedented, I agree, in scale and complexity. It's a big deal, and we need to make sure it goes smoothly. I've been on projects like that, and everybody's got to do their bit. First, it's all very separate, but then when you put it together, that's when it really gets exciting. So hopefully they'll do it right. In particular, he pointed to the lack of available products in the other Matter categories for Amazon to test. And that's always the problem. If you're waiting for another company to catch up with you, and that's what they're doing. There aren't many Matter-compatible locks, window shades, and thermostats out there yet. And we want to test everything in our beta program first. Smart man. Okay, Matter is a new smart eye. We already know about that. So we'll skip that. All this means that if a smart home device you buy has Matter logo on it, you should be able to set it up and use it with any Matter-compatible device and in any Matter-compatible platform, which is what we want. Matter-compatible devices should start to become available toward the end of this year. Amazon Alexa, Google Home, Samsung SmartThings, and Apple Home are some of the big smart home platforms signed on to support Matter. And we expect to see updates arriving on these platforms over the coming months. Like I said, I guess by next spring, we should be good to go. It is disappointing that we have to wait for support for Thread. Thread is a relatively new protocol. Yeah, I hadn't heard of it. In the smart home, I'm coming, Mike. And it's already causing consumer confusion with its need for a Thread border router. Okay, time out. We got Mike. There you are.
And he didn't even miss a beat. I'll get you, Mike. I'm getting there.
Well, ever since StreamYard
Wow.
added that sound when people come in, I know when you're there.
There's a sound. What kind of sound?
Oh, they added I just hear a click.
Do you?
Yeah, they added that last year. Before that, when somebody came in, if you weren't looking, you didn't see it. Now you know it right away.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Now you know it, so it's easy. No, I'm just that smart. Yeah, good luck with that.
I'm like, that was scary, man. I was like going, I just clicked.
Yeah, I got my eye on you. Don't forget.
Yeah, I know. I know. I bet you do.
And look at Brian being kind as he is every week. Thank you so much, Brian. Really appreciate it. All right, we're going to get to all the welcome. Here's Ellie. And Mike,
yes.
Musketeer time. Yeah, because Will said he'll be on next week with us.
Will, what part of the world are you at still now?
He's still over there in the Philippines, but he said it's very sporadic. Let me see if I can go back and find what.
Internet was.
Yeah, he said
we were talking a lot on Telegram.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And where does that one? Oh yeah, he said internet is worse than dial-up here, but I'll catch what I can. So we caught him a little bit. So he's watching. So he's watching us, and I appreciate that very well. Mm-hmm. So of course, Ellie got excited because the three of us. She hopes the three of us. We don't have no guarantee you'll be here next week, but I hope you're here next week.
Yeah. I mean, and then in a way, Will is here. He's just in the chat. You know.
Exactly. Yep.
So
all right, let me go back and just finish up this story.
No, you go ahead. You do your thing.
This is my last Matter story, and since Matter was officially launched yesterday.
But does it matter?
Get these, I already did that. Even Eleanor did a bad joke, you're late.
I mean, it was there, you know.
Exactly. It's hard to resist. Okay, we talked about Thread.
It's almost like as bad as calling, the nothing phone, you know.
Oh yeah. This is even easier, I think. Okay, but there aren't many border routers available yet. Apple's HomePod Mini and some Apple TV models are Thread border routers. I don't even know what a Thread border router is. As are Euro Wi-Fi routers and Nanoleaf smart lighting panels, so they can all be part of Thread, which is not quite ready yet. These last two aren't compatible with Matter yet, but you don't need a Matter-compatible Thread border router. Wow, that's a mouthful. To run Matter devices as long as you have a Matter controller elsewhere in your setup. So if you have Matter on your Echo, you should be able to run everything from there. That's what I'm gathering. But we need more options for Thread border routers and soon. So it sounds like this Thread thing is a big deal, but it's not ready yet. Amazon has said it will update its Echo 4th Gen smart speaker to support Matter over Thread. And now that Matter is here, I had hoped support would come quickly. Not so quickly, I gather. But there is some complexity around how Thread border routers from different manufacturers will work. Okay, this is going to get really complicated.
I have possibly what the definition is. I just Googled it. It might even make it more confusing.
Go ahead, give it a shot.
A Thread border router connects a Thread network to another IP-based network, such as Wi-Fi or Ether.
Oh, that's complicated. So you're connecting to network. This is going to get complicated. I can see why it's not ready.
A Thread network requires a border router to connect to other networks. A Thread border router minimally supports the following functions: bidirectional IP connectivity between Thread and Wi-Fi Ether networks. That's in so many words. That's as Googling it. That's the small of the of the
So I
big.
can see why it's not ready. They're trying to put networks together, because once you have two networks, then you've got to go through the apps in the network and get those working together. So I can see
I'm,
where that's going to
I'm
get
gonna
really complicated.
I'm gonna sound like a real bad here for a second,
Go
but
ahead.
I've been drinking the Pixel juice so much. Maybe I've lost my matter. I mean, I've lost my what is matter? What is this thing matter that you have this? I didn't get a chance to look at the stories, and I've heard the name matter being kicked around. What
Well,
is this all about?
I had done a story about it about 4 or 5 months ago.
Hmm.
When it's Google, Apple, and Amazon mainly, well, the biggest, they decided they needed a protocol that all the home stuff can work together. And that's what Matter is about. It's getting our home speakers, our TVs, our smart TVs, our refrigerators, our lights, our locks, all this stuff, and our thermostats. They're all supposed to work together. And if you have an Amazon one and you hook that up first, that should be able to control all the others, whether they're Google or Apple, and vice versa. So that's what this is all about.
And Apple's actually going to allow that to
Yes.
happen?
And
Wow.
it officially, they're all very committed to it, I gather. And it launched officially yesterday in Amsterdam.
Huh.
So they're making a big deal out of this. And I think it is a big deal. That's why I started with these 3 stories. Because with all of us depending more and more on home speakers, home lights, home locks, home thermostats, I think this is going to be a big deal for us. And I think the fact that they're doing this is a big deal.
It is a big deal, especially how locked down Apple can be. And
exactly. And
it changes. I can't believe that they're actually working together.
Apple and Google and Amazon are all totally on board. And in my reporting months ago, I said that. And they seem to be totally committed. Well, now we're going to see it, because now it's live. So if you buy an Amazon Echo right now, or a Google Home, or anything with Samsung Smart Things, any one of those 3 should be able to control the other 2. Except that iOS Home Kit, not quite yet, because the story I just did said that. Let me stop this screen. Story I just did said that Amazon's first 17 devices will do everything except iOS for HomeKit, which will come the beginning of next year. But starting next month, those 17 Amazon devices will work supposedly with everything Android. So
that's something.
Yeah, I think it's a very big deal, and it's going to become a big deal. And the fact that they seem to be so committed to it, and like we said in that article about them being slow and careful, I think this is a very smart move.
So yes, you got to. You just can't because you can imagine if it was baked in or almost part of the hardware, the software, exactly. And they go, oh damn, we put out 100 million pieces of hardware and don't work.
Exactly. And the thing they said, the new stuff will be coming with Matter included, but they're going to be updating old stuff to work with Matter too, which I think is awesome. So somebody is doing some really intense and delicate programming here for quite a while, I would say.
Wow.
And they've been doing it for quite a while, and obviously will be done. And this thread thing, that's going to be very, very complicated, I'm sure.
See, that opens up other possibilities
of, it does.
Not just Matter, but the ability to do these things and have the protocols and the I don't know, the knowledge, the software, however you want to call it, for them to be able to, hey, if this works in this, maybe this will work in that. That kind of thing, it's very interesting.
If this works with us doing it, how fast could AI do it? Well, probably AI will learn how to do it 1,000 times faster.
The integration of AI
5G, I can imagine what you put 5G in that mix. Wow.
Yeah.
So this is going to keep becoming a bigger and bigger deal, is my guess. Yeah. So it all sounds very cool to me. So it sounds like by next spring, we should have a lot of stuff from iOS and Google and Amazon working very nicely together.
So
I
like,
want to see what
yeah.
Microsoft stuff starts working with.
Yeah, really.
So anyway, very cool. So I've gotten through all of the Matter stories, and I guess Renz was the first one in tonight. I guess he's on his way to work now, or he's at work. And Brian, usually when Brian donates, I think he's probably just got home because he joined us jumping around on subways going home from work, I think. I said, I used to love riding the subway. You are too young to know, but when I was a kid, when I was 12, which would have been 1957, this is how safe a world we lived in those days. Now, keep in mind, I lived directly across the river in Jersey from Manhattan. When I was 12, I would go down and take a bus from where I lived in West New York, New Jersey, through the Lincoln Tunnel, and get off in Manhattan. And I would get off at the bus station, and I would get on the subway. Well, I got so good at it, I knew where I could make all my switches, and I would ride subways all day long, and I'd get home about 5 o'clock in the evening. And it didn't
cost a lot. It didn't cost a lot either, probably.
No,
right?
I could get away with this for like 75 cents because riding the subway was a quarter in those days. So, and I could go from Brooklyn to Manhattan to Queens and back again. The only place you couldn't get was Staten Island because Staten Island isn't physically connected like the others.
All right. Wow.
So anyway, I used to love it, and even working in New York, in Manhattan for the years I did, and I worked in Brooklyn when I was still doing blue collar. I used to love riding the subway. I used to get in the front car, looking out the window right by where the engineer is, and I'm standing there watching us do 70 miles an hour through New York. That was such a cool feeling to me.
Yeah, that must have been something that. And that was so different at a time where things were maintained and taken care of that
nobody could drive 70 miles an hour back in the 50s. You weren't allowed to do that. So that was the one place you could actually ride, and you're doing 70 miles an hour, and you're aware of it, and you could see it when you're in the subway. So you can see why I'm such a driving nut to this day.
Yeah. Right.
Eleanor thinks you sound tired.
It's been a long week. It's been a long week, and I'm here, and
we're very glad about that.
Yeah, I came home and immediately did my walk, and then
I saw your tweet about it.
Yeah, and then I did. It was Project Deconstruct of all the Halloween decorations.
Okay,
and Pat boxed majority of it up, and
I saw the picture she put on Twitter with the dog.
Oh yeah, okay.
Cage.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I thought I maybe in my matter of fact in my video of the comparison of the phones from last week.
You did have a couple of shots.
Right. Well, it's a big deal.
Okay.
Oh, George, you were here and you saw as you came up the stairs. And if you of course you made the right, straight ahead of you was all Halloween stuff. Right. And then you took that step up, and everything to the left of you as you're going to the studio was all Halloween stuff.
Oh, okay. So, I remember seeing all that stuff. I didn't know what it was all for.
It's that side. When you walk, probably 80% of it is Halloween, 10% is some Christmas, and 10% is stuff.
This was all just before I hit my head, right?
Yeah, just before you hit your head. Yeah.
You're lucky I didn't break your house.
I know. Yeah. Trust me, I've whacked my head a few times here too. So, but yeah, all that stuff had it.
I wanted to ask you now, where do you do your walk? Because I can still picture it. The neighborhood.
Okay. Well, just if you I can't I gotta post a map, but basically this you know how the grove is a circle,
Right.
and
Now
then
you
there was
coming
an
out of the front of your
outer.
house or the back of your house, first of all?
I'm sorry.
Are you coming out of the back of your house by the car, or
Oh,
are you
out of the
coming out
back
the
of my
front?
house.
Okay.
It basically, if you look at the if we were to look at the map, it's like a circle within a square.
Right.
I go on the perimeter of the square, and
Okay.
that works out to be point 0.6 miles, like point, and it was actually 0.67 by the time I got back to my back
Okay.
door.
So you're going up by the stores too, or you're not going that far?
No, no,
Okay.
just the grove, just my
So
area, but
I ran where you took me on the tour.
not
Okay,
that
gotcha.
circle, but on the outer edges,
Okay,
the
gotcha.
street. I walked out to the street where you
Okay,
pulled in,
right.
and then basically I went to where you pulled in. I made a left,
Okay.
go all the way up, then you're west, and then you make a left, and then you go all the way up, and then you got a good hill. You got like a real good hill. You really
That's the hill we could see from the circle looking
y-
up.
up, right,
Okay, I remember that. Okay.
right, and then I go instead of cutting the corner, I go all the way. Like if the right there is the old firehouse, which is now the county EMS emergency
Okay.
services.
Okay.
So I go that and then make it's like where the curb would be on a corner. I make another left, follow all the way down that South
Cool.
Avenue, and then, yeah. So
Very
I
good.
kind of plotted
Proud of
out
you.
that I was trying to find a half mile or more
Hmm.
loop
Right.
somewheres.
Exactly.
So yeah, I gotten off the I was doing it. Then inventory came. I
Sure.
lost my life.
Yeah, I can
I lost
understand
my
that.
life, and that's why I couldn't even make it last week because I was finishing up with inventory.
Right.
So,
Well, I'm glad.
so yeah,
I'm glad you got started on it, and hopefully you'll keep it up.
I'm,
And
I'm,
I saw where you dropped the weight, and you were you were very excited about that. So I
yeah, I
think you're on
was,
the right path there.
George, that was a shock. That was a complete shock. All right, I had, work pants were 48s. Like they were
Really,
okay. Yeah.
I didn't think it'd be that big.
Then I went down to 46. Then I
Okay,
went down to 46 because the 48s were falling off of me at work. I'm like, I got the belt
that's
always
good.
cinched up.
It's always a good feeling.
And then I got the 40. Now, right now, 46s are getting to where the 48s were.
Good.
And so I tried on a pair of 46 jeans. I
Okay.
posted that, I think, and they were perfect, if not a little loose. My
Cool.
wife found a pair of 42 jeans. I guess is one. They were like they're like brand new, dark
Right.
blue jeans.
Okay.
And I said, "All right, let me see if I can worm my way in there." And sure enough, I don't have to like suck it in.
Good for you.
Yeah,
Good for
yeah.
you.
But that was like, oh my goodness, where did this
There you
go?
go. This is a
Yeah,
great feeling, and
yeah.
especially as you're getting older, it feels really good. So,
Yeah. So like this shirt here, this shirt was tight on me,
right.
and as you can see,
Not tight now.
it's not. Yeah, I get in comments. I've lost a lot of my belly that you
Very good.
probably remember of. Yeah.
Very good,
So it's
Mike.
all
I'm very
portion
proud of you.
control, mostly portion control.
Okay.
I cut out I cut out
Here,
watching my sugars mostly and
look
my
at Ellen's
carbs.
comment. It took 3 years of walking, but she's dropped 80 pounds. Heart
Mm,
is happy now. Good for you, Mike. You can do
yeah.
this.
And
Yep.
then and there's those little things I don't squat. I can't squat. My knees still can't handle that.
Okay.
But if I have to get on my or I have to go and grab something off the floor,
Hmm.
I couldn't like flex my legs. Now I just did it. I took a shower before coming up here,
Okay.
and I'm picking up the stuff off the floor, and
Very good.
wait, I just like way I'm like going, ooh, I kind of like semi squatted, like
And
you know,
it feels really good when all of a sudden the simple things that were
mm,
hard are now
mm,
simple again. That's
mm,
awesome. Yeah, good for you, Mike.
mm.
Keep it up.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, biggest thing is portion control. That's the biggest thing. Like
That's that's where I'm different now. Most of you and most of my friends, even my best friend from grammar school, he and I are the same age. He's 77 also. Matter of fact, he'll be
mhm,
78 in December. He's a couple of months older than me, which I don't let him forget. But he does it purely by eating, and he's in great shape. He's the only other guy I know our age who takes no prescription drugs, zero at all. I always said it's got to be something from Hudson County, New Jersey, because we're both friends. But anyway, he's down in Florida now. But he does it completely by eating, and so do most people I know. And see, I'm the opposite of all you guys. I do it totally with exercise, and I can ignore everything else, which is what I do. But of course, I'm an exercise fanatic, and I know it.
Right. I'm trying to build up my stamina first by doing the walking.
I always tell everybody, start slow. That's
and like that hill. See that hill I talked about? That's where I just don't like, okay, I'm walking a hill. No, I'm huffing it. I'm huffing it to the top. I'm huffing it back down until I level out.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try and get a routine of doing that, and then maybe look into strength training, because this might sound crazy, but this is mushy. It wasn't mushy before. So
I understand. And Ellie will probably inspire you more, because she really has lost 80 pounds, and she's
good for you.
Walking like every day, She said portion control is crucial for most of us. It's not easy, but it works so well. So I'm not the normal. You guys are the normal, but you eat the right portions and stuff. And
I've eaten more whole grains, yogurts with. There's a yogurt I eat, which is really delicious. It's almost better than ice cream.
Isn't it great when something good for you is delicious? It works out nicely.
Yeah. It's 4 grams of sugar versus other yogurts have like 8, 6, 9. It goes up and up and up.
Okay.
So
you reminded me of an old Jimi Hendrix song. There's an old Jimi Hendrix song called "If 6 Was 9." You won't know that, but I used to sing it in the band. Okay.
So yeah, it's those things I kind of scrutinize. I mean, do I have toast? Heck yeah. But do I use peanut butter and sugar-free jelly? Yes. But do I count how many slices of bread I had through the day? Yes.
Good.
I know I could right now, if I wanted to, and which I just might, I can get a piece of toast, the peanut butter and jelly, because I didn't have no bread. Oh, wait a minute. I lied. I did have 2 pieces of and they were like real small, of a hoagie that had bread on it. So that was my only bread. It used to be
but
chips.
You're keeping track of it now. Are you ready? Are you ready for the bad one? You're keeping track of it, and it all matters.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I had to get that in.
I think that yogurt she's talking about, Chobani. No, it's not that one.
Chobani.
No, it's not that one. It's. I'll take a picture of it and send it to you.
Is this the Greek yogurts or the regular?
Yeah, it's a Greek yogurt.
I tried a bunch of Greek yogurts. I didn't like them, but of course I don't have to worry about what I eat ever. So, but I find I used to like other yogurts, but I guess they're probably full of sugar. Is my guess.
Yeah. So, but in some twisted way, I mean, if you look at these watches that we all talk about, the smartwatches, one of the things is health wise, and I want to take advantage of, I took the Pixel Buds out, I had them in my ear and listening to music. Right. I had the watch going. I set the Samsung, told I'm going to do an exercise thing, and I gave it, what was my parameters,
right.
And so it's still. I get a little techie with it, if you know what I mean, too.
Anthony, my Project 13, same thing. He was going over the Pixel Watch, and he was talking about how he sleeps with it. And I said to myself, and that's something I'll never do, because all of this stuff is good towards making you healthier. Well, I don't think I could possibly be healthier, so I'll probably never use any of this stuff.
But I sleep with.
But I think it's great that all you guys can and do.
Yeah, I sleep with mine because I do have sleep apnea, and I'm always scrutinizing that. Before I started walking, I was scrutinizing that because I was looking for when my REM sleep is there, when when I'm getting deep or not deep sleep, breathing and all that stuff. There's a lot more. There's a lot more that I should dive into,
Isn't
and
it
just
great that we have these things on the
oh oh
smartwatches and
oh
everything?
yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt. I heard I forget what podcast I was listening to, but the Fitbit, the one of the new Fitbit, sounds like it's really maybe up my alley more so.
And I saw
Uh,
an article I saw an article last week. I didn't get a chance to read it, but it said this new Fitbit is cheaper and maybe better. So it might be
Now,
the same one.
now you're talking about an actual Fitbit,
Yeah,
not the Pixel Watch, right?
no, the actual
Hmm.
Fitbit. Yeah.
Right.
But
I
I just think it's awesome.
Yeah, and let me segue into your Pixel Watch.
Right.
How you liking it?
I am loving it. But today I have on my Galaxy Watch
Hmm.
4 Classic. Yesterday I had on my Apple Watch. The day before I had on my Pixel Watch. So obviously tomorrow I'll have my Pixel Watch on again.
Hmm.
But I did. This is the first watch because of how much that sticks out at the top with that dome at the top of the watch and
Hmm.
the Pixel Watch. It does make me nervous. So I actually ordered that Rinky case for the watch, which will
You
be
must be
here.
selling a ton of those things.
Yeah, which will be here Monday.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, matter of fact, when I ordered it, the next day it hadn't shipped yet, and I was thinking, well, they're probably selling them so fast.
Hmm.
But anyway,
Yeah.
mine will be here. I'll feel much better when I put that case on that watch. But I am loving the watch so far.
Do you have your Samsung watch paired with a Samsung phone?
Yes,
Do you? Yeah.
I have it paired with this
Mhm.
S22 Plus.
And I'm planning on switching over the weekend. I'm planning. Yes, he does have an Apple. Which Apple Watch do you have? Ellie wants
I
to
have
know.
the Apple Watch SE, and that's paired with this iPhone 14 Pro Max. And of course, my
And
Pixel Watch is paired with the Pixel 7.
yeah. Well, the thing is with the Apple Watch is like a no brainer. Well, the SE I would imagine gives you all your health need.
Yes, it does.
So,
Will is the one who got me hooked on the Apple Watch because he
mhm.
kept saying try. Once I tried it, I couldn't go back.
Especially
And
somebody like you who's always exercising, that
exactly. And
you're missing out on so much you could do.
and until I got this Watch 4 class, well, I had the Watch 3, which I gave to Elmore
Mhm.
when I got this. But until I got the Samsung Watch 3, nothing came close to an Apple Watch for me as far as my exercise. Well,
Yeah, I was.
Classic 4 does, and now so does the Pixel Watch because it's coming out on Fitbit. And I
Mhm.
just figured out how to sync it yesterday, as a matter of fact.
Right. I was going to say is I'm going to rotate my phones around, make another one of these phones my work phone, move the
Right.
S22 up to my personal, and then I do have a active watch, a
Yeah,
active
I'm
2.
glad you used the S22 on today's broadcast.
Yeah. I was pleased, very pleased the way that video came out
Yeah,
as
me
far as
too.
quality and all.
Yeah.
So
And it was funny that you said you wish the Pixel Bud still had the little hook because the
mhm.
day before I watched somebody who hated the hook and he thinks the buds are much better now.
I don't get me wrong. These things are really nice. I do have to probably change the tip on that
Right,
one ear.
right. Oh,
Um,
so you have the same problem I do. You said it falls out of your right ear. With me, they tend to fall out of my left ear.
mhm,
So if I have to change the tip, it's that left ear every time.
mhm. Yeah. And it takes a bit, and then eventually it stays. It's still I'm still learning how to use to not use them, put them in. I
Right,
will outside once it's in
right.
and sealed. I got to do another seal test
Yeah,
too, just to
getting them
see.
sealed properly is the thing.
And yeah, that was the thing with the very, 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 very first time when I put them in, and I did. It was telling me change the. They told me to change the for the left ear,
Right.
and I did,
Okay.
and immediately I got a good seal. And man, I never had true noise canceling, and that was like wow. And I because I could the wow was when I took them out, like holy crap, I can hear outside, I can hear the
Exactly.
noise, my dog is
Exactly.
barking, that kind of thing. I'm
Yeah.
like going, holy crap, I didn't hear all that.
There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
Now,
that was something.
now, of course, that means you went right to the top and got to the ceiling. Oh. I can't resist. I can't resist.
Oh man.
Okay. Hey, at least I'm not writing this stuff because you
No,
do
man.
spelling.
If you were writing this stuff,
I
you
can't
need to
write.
write a
I
book. That's
can't
what you
write this
should do,
bad
George.
too.
You should write a book. The 1,001 bad puns. Okay.
Oh, back when I was younger, when I used to write a lot of songs, I actually had books like that because I would get ideas for songs from those books.
Or better yet, like today's show, there were just a ton of bad puns going back and forth. You need to grab them, little
That's
10-second blurbs, and just make a YouTube short out of it.
That's true. I
You know
could
what I
do
mean?
that.
You just would have, you could. There's going to be a few more. You then before you know it, you got 30 seconds worth of easily 30 seconds of bad puns.
Ellie agrees with you. Oh,
You
and
know,
the reason I said I used to use those books for those of you who don't know, over the years, over the 50 or so years I spent playing and singing in bands, I ended up writing about 300 songs that I actually copyrighted and everything. So I used to write a lot of songs.
all with bad puns in them.
Well, have I ever written a song with a bad? I don't think I ever have.
I couldn't help myself, but
I think the closest I ever came to writing a song that actually said something about me was a kind of a song I wouldn't write today as a Christian because it had to do with stuff that a Christian shouldn't say. But
I know I get it. That's fine. That's fine. I was just like you just come out with these puns like
oh yeah, the puns have always been there. I've always been very and
yeah.
The worst thing is the older I got, the more proud of them I got.
Yeah.
And Eleanor used to tell people, "Don't laugh; you only encourage him," which was very true.
Yeah.
But what I always told my coworkers is the thing about the puns. The reason I have to let them out because I let them out. It doesn't make me sick. It makes you sick. I'm good with that.
Oh man.
You want to do a story?
What do we see? What do we got
about
here?
The Android story. I think you might enjoy that one.
Android updates are boring, and that's okay.
No,
sure.
This turned out to be a very good story, and I was glad I picked. All right, let me share the screen. Okay.
Oh my goodness!
All whenever you're
ads.
ready, we can go with it.
All these stinking ads. Where's the words here?
Wait! I'll get the.
No, okay.
How's that?
Wait a minute.
Better?
I don't even know I don't know what you're doing, but hold on.
Look at the screen that we're broadcasting on.
How do you get in that? I want to sound like a doofus. Tell me, how do you get in that?
All right, look at the screen. You see where my pointer is?
Yes.
Okay. If we go up here.
No, it's behind this mobile geezer.
Right, but on the.
Are you in Chrome? Are you in Chrome?
Yes, in Chrome. If you go on extensions, you click on the extension thing, and you can turn reader view off or on. See, now the extensions are off, and you're going to see all the reader views off. And you're going to see all the ads. And if I click it again, and I
on that little look like a piece of puzzle.
Yes, you click it again. I click reader view. That's what makes the ads mostly disappear, and then you can read. Makes it a lot easier.
I'm learning something new today, folks. It doesn't, I learned this. I hit extensions. It doesn't. I'm getting.
Yeah, nowhere. You have to add that extension. Yeah, the extension. It's called Reader View. If you search for Reader View extension, you'll find it right away. Ted is the one that turned me onto it, so we're all teaching each other. You know. Yeah. I didn't know about it until Ted taught me. You know. All right, let me know when you're ready, or if you want to go get the Reader View first. You're breaking up a little bit on me. I don't think I'm breaking. I'm not breaking up, am I? No, you're breaking up on me. Why are you breaking up on me?
Yeah. Is it?
No, it's very spotty right now. You guys let me know if I sound spotty. I don't think I do, but Mike does. What is Ted saying? My work lives on love. Okay. All right, Mike, talk again.
My lives on love.
Yeah, you're coming in very choppy. I don't know why.
Choppy.
Okay, now say it again. Say it again.
3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Now the choppiness just stopped.
All right, hold on.
Okay.
I'm going to connect
Were
to.
you able to get rid of you or not? Yeah, I was right. It wasn't me. Ted took. I sounded. It was just you. But now we seem to be okay again.
How about now? Am I back?
No, you're fine. Yeah, you're fine now.
Good.
Yeah, everything
Good?
is good. Yep. Everything is beautiful in its own way. I'm sorry, I can't help it. Sometimes it just comes out of me. All right. You going to read or you going
I can't
to
read this. Hold on. I'm having trouble. Let me put on.
Oh, you want me to read?
No. Hold on.
You're choppy again.
I'm going to do this.
You're chopping
really?
badly again. I don't know what happened. I don't know what's causing it. We had this.
Yeah, it's.
Now it's better again.
Everything was fine, huh?
Now it's better again.
And now it's better again.
Yeah, we had this about a week before I came up there, and you did something, or you changed mics or something, and all of a sudden it was fine.
Nah, I'm.
Now it's choppy again. It's bad choppy again.
George.
Yeah. Yeah, you're coming through very stuttering.
Okay, hold on a second.
And now it's better. Rance, thank you so much, sir. He's wishing us all a blessed weekend. That's nice. Thank you, Rance. You're very kind as always. Okay. Sorry about our issues, folks. If one of us isn't having issues, somebody else does. It's part of it. And your sound is gone completely now. Now I can't hear you at all. Okay. The only reason I saw your mouth stop moving and I realized I wasn't here with you. Okay. Hopefully he's coming right back, folks. I hope. And as soon as I couldn't hear him, my mind meant nothing from nothing leaves nothing. Oh, wait, he's back. Let's see if I can pull him back in. Okay.
Hello.
Right. There you are.
Hello? Am I here?
So far.
Am I breaking up?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay. All right.
Let's hope it doesn't.
Android updates are boring, and that's okay. Wait a minute, let me look at the audience here. How do I sound, people? Ted, tell me the truth.
No, you just started breaking up again.
That's how.
Yeah, Brian.
Am I breaking up again?
Just the way it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're breaking up again. I don't know why. You think changing mics would help?
I really don't have another mic, and I don't know.
I was thinking that's what you did last time, but I'm not sure.
I didn't change. No, I kept on plugging.
Now it's still breaking up. And now we can't hear you again. Yeah, now nothing again. Brian says you're breaking up too. And we're using the same mic, by the way.
How about now?
Now it sounds okay. We're both using the same blue mic. I have the exact same mic you have.
I've been having trouble ever since that, and then sometimes I would record videos, and it sounds like I'm not even plugged in. It's like another mic is picking it up.
Okay, yeah. All
Another
of a sudden
mic.
you're fine. Yeah.
There is
you
another
go.
mic
There
in the
you go.
room.
I had the same thought. I like it. Dragging you down to my level. I'm enjoying that.
Yeah, you are. Okay, have I broken up?
No, you just started breaking up again. Are you sure you don't have another mic? What camera
I don't have
are you
another
using?
mic. I really don't.
What camera are you using?
I'm using my my Logitech. Here, how
Well,
about
that has a mic. That has a mic.
Yeah, I know that.
Why don't you try?
But every time I'm
just thinking, if you try switching to that mic, it might make it better.
How do I?
All right, he's disappeared on us, folks. Hopefully, he'll be right back again. As soon as he comes back in, I'll bring him back in, and we'll see. Sorry about all this. Don't we make it exciting? What's that old song? If it wasn't for bad luck, I wouldn't have no luck at all. I just saw Christopher Steele like my thing on Twitter that we're on live. I used to be on a broadcast with Chris a few years ago with Bain Tech. When I first started, I used to broadcast with Bain Tech, and Christopher Steele was one of the guys that broadcasted with us there. All right, you're back again. Did you switch mics?
1, 2, 3. Is this?
Okay, it's a different mic. That's for sure.
This is the camera.
Okay, it sounds okay. You're not breaking up yet.
Okay, and does it sound clear enough? Because I really like the sound of this.
Yeah, we can hear that you're in the room somewhat, but no, it sounds fine. Sounds just fine.
Okay. I just know it's at a distance too, so
yeah, and you can hear the little bit of a distance, but no, it sounds fine.
Okay.
So I think we solved it.
Let's try this. Okay. Google.
No, you're breaking up again. No, you're breaking up again.
It's got to be.
I'm thinking it's got to be your signal, I guess.
By the computer here.
Okay, all right.
Where are you at?
Why don't we try that? Let me try reading this story.
Go ahead.
Let me try reading this story.
Go ahead.
All right. I'm going to continue. We're almost done anyway. We've only got this and one more story. All right. Sorry about that, folks. I'm going to try to continue on. Android updates are boring, and that's okay. And this is a pretty good story. And this is from last week by C. Scott Brown from Android Authority. Google's annual Android update used to be major events, bringing much-needed features and UI refinements to the platform, but that was then and this is now. Today, more than 14 years after Android debuted, the annual updates are something else, boring. It's a common refrain when Google announces a new Android update these days, and it's certainly the case with Android 13. Should we be sad about that? I'd argue it's good that Google isn't taking any major risk with Android right now. If it did, you might not like the results. Yeah, we've all been there a few years ago. Pardon me. We've come a long way already. It's hard to believe there was a time when apps would run roughshod over the system, waking up whenever they wanted and wrecking your battery. That's true. The UI design in those days was a disappointment as well. So much so that the neon-themed Holo UX was an improvement over Gingerbread, that's sad, which had all the elegance of an ecto-cooler juice box. Somewhere along the way, Android became a mature OS. All the low-hanging fruit is gone. That frees up resources to focus on things that aren't as flashy but still vital. So in a lot of ways, boring Android updates were not only inevitable, they're desirable. I agree entirely. Maturity was inevitable. In the past, Google could throw things at the wall to see what stuck. Yes, they did. There was room to do that when we didn't know exactly how the modern smartphone should work. This was a time when no OEMs were still experimenting with form factors and phones were tiny compared to what we carry today. Google could introduce a feature like lock screen widgets, Beam, or Daydream, only to throw them away a version or two later. Yes, they did. The stakes are higher now. Phones have converged on the flat glass slab form factor, and we know what to expect from smartphones as Android and iOS converge. In the past, in the past, Google could throw things at the wall to see what stuck. There was room to do that when we didn't know exactly how the modern smartphone should work. Look at your Android phone. There haven't been many, if any, fundamental shifts in a good 5 years. It's not just Google either. The Android and iOS software experiences share a lot of elements, to the point that the platforms take turns borrowing features from one another. That's true. Android copies Android's notification shade badly. No, Apple copies Android's notification shade badly. Google borrows generously from Apple's gesture navigation. Apple makes a better version of Android's home screen widgets around and around until what few user-facing innovations we get are so minor as to be forgettable. I think that's 100% true. Android has left behind the days of punctuated equilibrium when each version would bring dramatic changes followed by a year of stagnation. That's very, very true. Now, every update builds on the last, and Google can fiddle around the edges with changes to Play services, which contains more system components year by year. As far back as Lollipop, Google had been adding components like account authentication and system security to Play services, allowing the company to make changes without pushing an OS update. So much of what might have been a bullet point for a major update now just appears on almost all Android devices when the mothership flips a server-side switch. That's true, and that's a lot better. Many feature updates now just appear when the mothership flips the server-side switch. With Android 13, there is again howling and gnashing of teeth as the internet laments yet another boring update. Material U enhancements helmed the new update, and it took 2 version updates to get all the pieces in place. That's true. It took 12 and 13. In Android 12, color options were limited, and Google didn't make the underlying Monet engine available to everyone. Thus, some Android 12 phones launched without theming. That's true. I remember that. And many of those that did had limited functionality. For example, OnePlus didn't even let you adjust the theme color. Interesting. When you look back at the specifics like the icon theme, it's going to take years longer to get everyone on board. Maybe that'll never happen. But Android updates are no longer a one-and-done event. They're just the next step in the process, and some will be a little more than a shuffle forward. Android 13 also added some new security and privacy features, which has been a focus for Google in the last several version updates. Apps now have to ask for your permission to send notifications, and media permissions are more granular to preserve your privacy. Yep, they're doing a better job. That's not to say Google hasn't been doing important work on Android. It's just not the kind of work you see glancing at your phone. Projects like Treble and Mainline have further streamlined device updates, making it possible for companies to roll out OTAs in a somewhat timely manner. Just a few years ago, device makers didn't make any firm promises about update support. Wait, I'm going to keep just reading the story, but I'm bringing you in.
Yeah, that's fine. I just want to know.
So far, you sound good. All right, let me finish. Just a few. Didn't make any firm up to support, so you'd be left wondering if your $1,000 smartphone was going to get more than the original security patch, and hoping for a major OS update was a recipe for disappointment. That's true. Now, Samsung, once famed for its poor update support, that's true, is keeping its phones updated a year longer than even Google, and the OTAs don't take nearly as long to show up. Samsung is releasing One UI 5 based on Android 13 to some devices as I'm writing. That was unimaginable before Google shifted its focus. They're not sexy, but those are the changes that matter in 2022. Couldn't agree more. As Google was releasing Android 13 to Pixel devices, Stadia was in a downward spiral. That's an understatement. That led to it getting the axe. I've long been concerned that Google's lack of focus is harming its products, and the abject failure of Stadia has only strengthened that belief. That's true. It's getting harder to trust Google. That's true. That's why Will stopped. So maybe we shouldn't be hoping for major user experience updates right now. There's a great risk in making sweeping changes to a mature piece of software like Android. Just look at what happened when Microsoft tried to rethink its venerable desktop OS with Windows 8 in 2012. Yeah, that didn't work out. The response was so negative, it was forced to roll back most of the changes just a year later in 8.1. I remember that. Android doesn't need groundbreaking changes right now, not until the way we interact with mobile devices evolves. Perhaps the change that will come in the form of foldables, I agree, or heaven forbid, the metaverse, let's hope not. Foldables seem like a safer bet, thankfully, and Android 12L, which I just got in my Surface first generation, is already moving us in that direction. In the meantime, let's stop and appreciate some nice, boring Android updates. I think that whole article made a whole lot of sense. All right, Mike, now you can talk.
I don't know if I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Did you change computers or what?
No, I did. I did the easiest thing: unplug and reboot. Reboot the
Well,
tower. I don't know.
You're not breaking up.
No. Okay.
Not yet.
All right. Not yet.
So far, so good.
I'm trying to cruise through this. They can't make any radical changes.
Now you are breaking up a little bit, not as bad as before. Yeah, now you're breaking up bad again.
No. Listen, I'm gonna bail. I don't know what's going on here.
All
okay.
Right. Hopefully you'll be back next week and we'll be good to go.
I'm gonna. Yeah. I'll have to work on this. There's something going on with my internet here. Okay.
All right.
Sorry, guys.
All right. Well, we're glad you were here. We're glad we got to discuss them.
Thank you.
Right,
Thank you. I'll catch you guys later.
And have a very blessed weekend.
Look me for me on Twitter. I'll be posting my results. Okay.
Cool. Sounds good.
Bye.
All right. Have a good one. All right. Stuck with just me again, folks. All right. We've only got one more story left. So I'm going to go with that one. At least my connection was good. Okay. So like I said, I didn't want to do the whole Twitter like I've been doing every week, but I just thought I wanted to throw this story in. So, Twitter founder Jack Dorsey to remain invested in the company under Elon Musk. This was by Claire Duffy. This was published 3 days ago, but everybody had this story. So, let's go into read review. Okay, Twitter co-founder and former CEO Jack Dorsey stepped down from the company's board earlier this year, but he's staying involved with the social platform following its takeover by Elon Musk. Dorsey rolled over his more than 18 million shares in Twitter, a roughly 2.4% stake, into the new Musk-owned company as an equity investor, rather than receiving a cash payout, according to a Thursday securities file. So if he could have gotten a payout and been done, but he didn't. The transfer means that Dorsey effectively contributed just under $1 billion to Musk's $44 billion Twitter purchase. It also makes him one of the largest investors in the new company behind Saudi Prince Alawid bin Talal and Qatar's investment authority. And yeah, so he's the third biggest investor in Twitter even now. This decision by Dorsey makes him one of the few stakeholders in Musk Twitter with ties to prior leadership. Almost immediately after taking over the company must dissolve Twitter board of directors. Much of the company's C-suite has also either been fired or resigned in recent days. And today, I gather he got rid of half the employees. Dorsey and Musk have long had a billionaire bromance. In 2020, Dorsey called Musk at an employee conference and asked his advice about improving Twitter. That's a gutsy move in front of employees. Later that year, Musk defended Dorsey when he was facing pressure from an activist investor saying on Twitter, I support Jack as Twitter CEO. He has a good heart. After the Tesla CEO initially agreed to buy Twitter in April, Dorsey tweeted that he doesn't believe anyone should own or run Twitter, explaining he believes it should be a public good. Solving for the problem of being a company, however, Elon is the singular solution I trust, he added. Dorsey stepped down as Twitter CEO last November and left its board of directors in May. He has publicly criticized the company's former board and has also privately questioned the company's future. Yeah, but he also complimented the guy he put in charge, but I guess that Musk wasn't too pleased with him. In text messages with Musk in March, after the world's richest man had built up a large stake in Twitter, but before announcing it publicly, Dorsey said, a new platform is needed. It can't be a company. This is why I left. Musk responded by asking what the platform should look like. Dorsey explained his view that it should be an open source protocol and not rely on an advertising model as Twitter currently does. And this is what happens with these companies. These people start them with one intention and they turn into something else. The same thing happened at Instagram. The same thing happened at other places. Dorsey added that Twitter should never have been a company, saying this was the original sin, according to the text messages which were revealed last month in court filings. I think it's worth both trying to move Twitter in a better direction and doing something new that's decentralized, Musk told Dorsey. Dorsey earlier this month launched a beta test, I didn't know about this, of a new decentralized social media app called Blue Sky that could eventually compete with Twitter. I didn't know about that. As of October 20th, the app had a wait list of more than 30,000 people, it said on Twitter. So it announced itself on Twitter. In April, after Musk agreed to buy the company, Dorsey pledged his support for the takeover. I appreciate you. This is the right and only path. I'll continue to do whatever it takes to make it work, the Twitter founder told Musk. Dorsey has not publicly commented on Musk's takeover since the deal closed last week. So I just thought it was interesting that Dorsey is basically still supporting Musk, which, if you're going to be a friend, I guess it makes sense. So, all right, coming out of reader view, let's get rid of that. Can we go away? Thank you. Okay. So let's see. Brian said, oh, good, Mike. Brian said, no one's going to run and work for Twitter. I suspect that if Musk shows some fairness, it shows the kind of fairness that he says he wants every side to have, I guess people will want to work for him. That's my guess. But we have to see if he shows the kind of fairness that he's talking about. Because if he shows that to people, I would think people will work for him. We'll see what happens. Okay, down to our last story. Well, to our last thing, which is golden rectangles. So, as always, I tell you about this every week. Get rid of my stuff, and that's in the way here. Okay. So if you want some exposure for yourself or somebody else for a video, a blog, whatever you've got, you can go to Golden Rectangles every day. It's on reddit.com/r/glowing rectangles. This was started by Juan Bagnell, some gadget guy. He's the guy who maintains it. Like I said, you can always get more exposure here every day. You go here, you hit top, you'll see what was upvoted the most for today. And that was Surface Pro 9 5G, Logitech Cloud, Pixel Watch XE7. Wow, that's the South. So this was, their weekly broadcast together. And this was Juan and, oh boy, TK Bay. You think I remember I've met him in person like 4 or 5 times. So Fred, he matter of fact, he always says nice things about me. Anyway, this is their weekly get together that they have every week, and you learn a lot by listening to these two guys because these are two of the most knowledgeable and nicest guys you'll ever see in tech. So they're on every Thursday night. My problem is they start at 8 o'clock LA time because they're both in LA. And for me, that's 11 o'clock my time, and I've got to be up at 5 o'clock on Friday morning. So I almost never catch them live. Every once in a while, I catch the beginning of the show. That's about it. But so you can post here every day. You see if it gets upvoted and downloaded. This one got the most votes for today. Second one is always an ad. Next most votes was Jay Will, Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra on the Android 13. Any better? I saw the story in the video. I haven't got a chance to watch it yet. And you can see what got voted on. I'm going to guess Mike's. Oh, there's mine from tonight. Yeah, Ted set that up, so it automatically goes there. So we're looking at tonight's, and there's Mike's car vlog for this morning on the Samsung S22 series. So, as I said, you can go to reddit.com/r/glowing rectangles, and you can post here and get yourself or anyone else you want more exposure. So just wanted to let you guys know that's there, and I tell you about that every week. So glad Mike got in here. Glad he was on for as long as he was. So let's put this back to the comments. Yeah, Brian says, I doubt if half the workers were all bad. And I would agree with you, Brian, but I have now, of course, I've never met Elon. I have this feeling that he has these standards that are probably pretty tough to meet because I gather his whole life he's been the kind of guy who'll stay there and work 24 hours a day for 3 days in a row and sleep on the floor. And that, my guess is he's the kind of guy who wants that from other people. You'll never get that out of me, but I'm thinking that's part of it. I'm thinking his standards are just really, really, really high. I'm guessing, and I pray for these people and hope their families are fine, but I hope he gets it straightened out, and I hope he's telling us the truth. So we'll see. He shows no concern for his workers financially. No one's going to trust him regarding job security. That's very true. Now, one of the reasons in my whole career as a programmer, back in '87 when I left PaineWebber and went out on my own as a programming contractor, my only next promotion was going to be manager. And it didn't matter what company I was in. That was the next level I was going to. And that's what made me go look for contract work as a programmer, because I did not want to be a manager. And the biggest reason I did not want to be a manager, because when you're a manager, you have to fire people. And I always saw myself firing a guy who deserved to be fired and thinking about, well, what's his family going to do? So people at that level have to be able to do that. I couldn't do that, so I couldn't take a job. That's why I'm glad I went to contracting, and I stayed contracting for 15 years. So let's hope he's telling the truth. But I think you're absolutely right. I don't think anybody's going to trust him regarding job security, although there might be people at SpaceX and Tesla who trust him as far as job security. I don't know how many years they've been there. But if there's anybody, that's who it's going to be. And some of the stories I heard today, of course, being at work today, I only heard flashes of these stories. It sounded like he was bringing in some people from Tesla to go over some of the code and some of the stuff at Twitter. But then other stories made it sound like, well, he was bringing in people to work at Twitter as employees. So I don't know which is true or if he did both. But if he brought in some Tesla employees that he trusts, that's probably a step in the right direction. But we'll have to see how it goes. So anyway, guys, thanks as always for hanging around. Renz and Brian, especially you guys, you're always so kind to me. And I appreciate it so very much. And you guys are so faithful between work. You're always here, and I appreciate it. And I appreciate all of you guys. Annette, appreciate you. Eleanor, always here. Will, I appreciate you coming in from the Philippines. Appreciate Mike being here. And I'm hopeful that, and Ellie, of course, you always contribute greatly to the conversation. And of course, you encourage Mike. The fact to tell him you lost the 80 pounds, I think is exactly what he needed to hear, because almost nobody's going to be the fanatic than I am about exercise. So, Ellie said, grapes and articles I had not seen. And I always try to come up with some articles that people haven't seen in other places. So that's good. Thank you, Ellie. Thank you, Ted. Really appreciate it. You guys have a very, very blessed weekend, and we will see you all next week. Hopefully, Mike and Will and I. So we'll see how that goes. Have a blessed one, folks. And remember, we all do better when we love each other.